Good day everyone. Today, we're going to talk about science and technology timeline in the field of psychology. And we're joined by our guests, two renowned psychologists and two experts in history of psychology. Thank you for all joining. Let's start with the first entry in our timeline. Hello, Dr. Lorea. Can you tell us about what happened in the year 1879?
Hello, Belle. Thank you for having me today. So, in the year 1879, Wilhelm Wundt established the first psychology laboratory at the University of Leipzig, Germany, and that was the firstborn of experimental psychology as we know it today.
That's fascinating. What happened in the year 1890?
So, in the year 1890, William James published his groundbreaking book entitled The Principles of Psychology, which is still considered as one of the important works in the field of psychology.
And what actually occurred in 1900s?
In the year 1900, Sigmund Freud published The Interpretation of Dreams, which introduced his theory of the unconscious mind, which greatly influenced the field of psychoanalysis.
Wow, that's quite significant and interesting. What about 1930?
In the year 1913, John B. Watson published his paper entitled Psychology of the Behaviorism Views It, which marked the beginning of behaviorism as a dominant perspective of psychology.
Thank you for that, Dr. Lorea. So today, we're also having one of the renowned psychologists, Dr. Sheena. So, Dr. Sheena, can you tell us what happened in the years 1920, 1932, and 1939?
In 1920, Wolfgang Kohler conducted an experiment on insight learning, which demonstrated that animals could learn through understanding rather than trial and error. Then, in the year 1932, B.F. Skinner published The Behavior of Organisms, which expanded on the principles of behaviorism and introduced the concept of operant conditioning. And in 1939, Carl Rogers published his book The Clinical Treatment of the Problem Child, which introduced to us the concept of client-centered therapy.
Oh wow, thank you for that, Dr. Sheena and Dr. Lorea, for giving us lots of knowledge. Now, we are having Miss Lisette and Miss Crystal to tell us the history in the field of psychology. So first, let's hear from Miss Lisette. Miss Lisette?
Hello, so in 1953, Hans Isaac published his theory of personality, which proposed that personality is based on three major dimensions: extroversion, introversion, neuroticism, stability, and psychoticism. In 1961, Albert Bandura published his famous Bogodal study, which demonstrated the importance of observational learning in shaping behavior. In 1962, Stanley Milgram conducted his obedience experiments, which demonstrated the power of social influence and obedience to authority. The Stanford Prison Experiment, which demonstrated the power of situational influences on behavior.
Wow, that is incredible, Miss Lisette. Thank you for joining us. For me, it's interesting to see how these studies contributed to our understanding of different aspects of human behavior and the factors that influence it. That is really fascinating. Let's now hear the four last entries in this milestone. Hello, Miss Crystal.
Hi, Belle. Thank you for including me as one of your guests, so let's now start. In 1983, Howard Gardner proposed his theory of multiple intelligence, which suggested that there are multiple types of intelligence, such as musical, linguistic, and spatial. And in the year 1984, Richard Lazarus introduced the concept of cognitive appraisal, which emphasized the role of subjective interpretation in the experience of stress. In 1990, Martin Seligman introduced the concept of positive psychology, which focused on promoting human strength and well-being rather than just treating mental illness. For our last entry would be in the year 2000, Steven Pinker published The Blank Slate, which challenged the idea of the mind as the blank slate and emphasized the role of genetics and evolution in shaping behavior.
Thank you all for joining us in this interview about science and technology timeline in psychology. We hope you found this 15th contribution to the field informative and thought-provoking. The field of psychology continues to evolve and shape our understanding of human behavior and mental processes. And we look forward to seeing what the future holds. Again, this is Daily Show with Hannah. Bye!